Your finger hovers over the screen. Again, the same thread, the same silence. You check for a reply that never comes. Each tap, a quiet plea to be seen. Each pause, a weight you carry alone. You tell yourself it's nothing. You tell yourself you've moved on. But the urge to refresh, it's still there. A reflex you can't unlearn. A loop you didn't choose. What if waiting for their reply is just you betraying yourself? You think it's about them, their words, their absence. But every moment you linger, you hand over your presence. You trade your stillness for a signal that won't arrive. What are you proving by staying in this cycle? That you're loyal? That you're enough? The screen stays dark, and so does your answer. Each check erodes something deeper. Not just time, not just hope. It's your self-command, slipping through the cracks. You don't see it at first. The numbness creeps in slowly. A silent fracture. Every glance at their name, another thread unravels. You're not just waiting for them. You're losing the ground you stand on. The longer you chase their attention, the further you drift from your own. This isn't about their silence. It's about yours. Growing louder. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Their absence isn't your truth. It's a shadow you keep chasing, a loop you keep feeding. Their silence is just noise you haven't muted. Let it sit there, unanswered, unseen. It doesn't own you. You don't owe it your gaze. When you check again, who are you abandoning? The one who waits or the one who could walk away? You've been here before. The same screen, the same pain, the same question, unanswered. You think you're holding on to them, but it's you're letting go of. Every tap, a choice to stay trapped. Every pause, a chance to break the loop. The cycle doesn't stop until you do. Why do you still wait for their reply? What does it prove? That you're patient? That you're enough? Each moment you linger, what are you chasing? A word? A sign? Their attention? Or your own? Why do you open that thread, knowing the silence won't change? What keeps you there, in that loop? Is it hope, or just habit? Who are you proving this to? Them. Or the part of you that's already gone? When you check again, what do you lose? Time. Number. It's your presence, fading with each tap. Why do you let their absence dictate your pause? What if you didn't look? What if you didn't wait? Would the pain still own you? Or would you finally SEE? The screen stays dark. The answer doesn't come. Your finger hesitates, and the room goes quiet. Rule 1. Chasing their attention. You send another message, knowing they won't reply. The words sit there, unread, like a weight you can't lift. You check the screen again, and again. Each tap, a quiet hope that they'll see you this time, that they'll respond, that they'll care. You tell yourself it's just a habit, just a moment, but it's not. It's a reflex, carved deep into your system. You chase their attention not because you need it, but because you've forgotten how to stop. Every text, every glance, every pause, you're begging for a sign that you're enough. You're not reaching out to them. You're reaching out to a version of yourself you've lost. This isn't connection, it's a loop. Each message you send, it doesn't bring them closer. It pushes you further away from your presence, from your stillness. You think you're proving loyalty. You think you're showing strength. But every unanswered word, it's a crack in your self-command. The more you chase, the less you hold, the less you are. Their silence isn't the problem. It's your reaction that's the weight. You're not waiting for their reply. You're waiting for permission to exist. Seneca wrote, "You must change the things you can control and accept the things you cannot." Their response, you cannot control. Their attention, it's not your truth, but your finger hovering over the screen. That's yours. Your time, spent refreshing their absence. That's yours. You choose to give it away. You choose to let their silence define your pause. You choose to chase. And every choice, it buries you deeper. Not in their world, in your own loss. Stop. Not forever. Not with force. Just now. Withdraw. Don't send the next message. Don't check the next notification. Let the urge sit there, unacted. It's not about them. It's about you, reclaiming the space you've given away. Their silence doesn't own you. Their absence doesn't measure you. You don't need their reply to be whole. You don't need their attention to stand still. Each moment you don't chase, you build a new reflex. Each pause, you take back your ground. The screen will stay dark. Let it. Their words may never come. Let them. You're not here to beg. You're not here to prove. You're here to witness your own strength, to hold your own line, to stop the loop before it starts again. One choice at a time. One pause at a time. You don't need their eyes to see yourself. You don't owe anything. The reflex to chase doesn't vanish. It lingers, waiting for a crack. But there's another way to face the silence without breaking. Rule 2. Overthinking their silence. Why does their silence feel so loud? You lie awake, replaying their last words, or the lack of them. Your mind spins, piecing together what they meant, what you missed, what you could have said. Each thought, a thread you pull tighter. You tell yourself you're solving it. You're finding the truth, but you're not. You're overthinking, building a maze with no exit. Their absence becomes a puzzle you can't stop solving, a question you can't stop asking. Why didn't they reply? Why didn't they stay? What did you do wrong? You think the answer will free you. It won't. It's just another loop, keeping you from yourself. Every thought you chase, it doesn't clarify. It clouds. It doesn't bring them back. It buries you deeper in regret. You think you're in control, analyzing their silence, but you're not. You're trapped in a cycle of your own making. Each what if, it's not a step forward. It's a weight you carry. It's not their absence that hurts. It's your refusal to let it be. You're not solving their silence. You're amplifying your own pain. The more you think, the less you see. What need is there to weep over parts of life? Seneca asked. The whole of it calls for tears. Their silence. It's not your burden to decode. It's not your truth to unravel. Your mind. It's yours to command. Not to let it run, chasing shadows that don't exist. Their words, or lack of them, they don't define you. Your thoughts, they do. Stop feeding the maze. Stop building the puzzle. Observe the urge to think. Watch it rise and let it pass. You don't need to solve their silence to find your stillness. Pause. Not to suppress the thought, not to fight it, just to see it. Let the question sit unanswered. Let the urge to analyze fade. You don't need their reasons to stand whole. You don't need their answers to breathe clear. Each moment you don't overthink, you reclaim your mind. Each pause, you break the maze. Their silence is just that, silence. It's not your story. It's not your weight. You're not here to solve it. You're here to witness yourself. Pain doesn't mean truth. Their silence lingers, like a shadow you can't shake. But shadows don't hold you unless you chase them. Regret is a locked room you keep entering. The key isn't their answer. It's your choice to walk away. Rule 3. Explaining to be seen. You type out the message again. Words to clarify, to justify, to make them understand. You think if you explain, they'll see you. They'll get why you acted that way, why you cared, why you're still here. Each sentence, a plea for their nod. You tell yourself it's closure. It's truth. It's you setting things right. But it's not. It's a trap you set for yourself. You think explaining will free you, that their understanding will make you whole. You're wrong. Every word you send, it's not for them. It's for the part of you that feels invisible. Their response, it won't fix the fracture. You think their agreement will erase the rejection. It won't. Each explanation, it doesn't build a bridge. It digs a deeper hole. You're not clarifying. You're begging for their eyes, for their approval, for a moment where you don't feel alone. But the more you explain, the less they hear, the less you stand. Their silence, it grows heavier with every word you give it. You're not seen because you're hiding yourself behind their judgment. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." You give your attention to their understanding, to their validation, and you become smaller. Not because they don't see you, because you don't see yourself. Your words, they're yours to hold, not to scatter, chasing their gaze. No explanation is owed, not to them, not to the pain. Stop typing. Stop justifying. Let their silence sit to unanswered. You don't need their clarity to find your own. Withdraw the urge to speak. Let the need to be understood pass. It's not about being right. It's not about being seen. It's about being still. You don't need their agreement to exist. You don't need their nod to breathe. Each moment you don't explain, you reclaim your voice. Not for them, but for you. Their silence, it's not your mirror. Your presence, it's not their verdict. You're not here to convince, you're here to hold your ground. Silence isn't surrender. The urge to explain, it pulls like a tide. But tides don't drown you, unless you swim against them. Rule 4. Clinging to old messages. Your phone lights up, but it's not them. Still, you scroll back to the old thread. Their words, frozen in time. You read them again and again. Each line, a tether to a moment that's gone. You tell yourself it's just a glance, just a memory. But it's not. It's clinging to a past that doesn't hold you anymore. You hold on to their words, like they're proof you were seen, like they're proof you mattered. But they're not. They're shadows you keep alive. Every reread, it doesn't bring them back. It pulls you further in, into regret, into loss. You think these messages, they're a bridge to what was. They're not. They're a weight, sinking you deeper. Each word you linger on, it's not closure. It's a wound you reopen. You're not holding on to them. You're holding on to pain, dressed as memory. Their words, they don't define you. Your choice to stay there does. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time." Their messages, they're already fading. Not because they're gone, because they're not your truth. Your truth is in the now, not in a screen, glowing with what's dead. Let go, not with anger, not with force, just with a breath. Close the thread. Turn off the screen. You don't need their words to know who you are. You don't need their past to stand here. Release the urge to scroll back. Let the pull of memory pass. It's not about forgetting. It's not about erasing. It's about seeing what's real. You don't need their echo to exist. You don't need their shadow to breathe. Each moment you don't cling, you reclaim your presence. Their words, they're just ink on a screen. Your stillness, it's the ground You build. You're not here to hold relics. You're here to hold yourself. Let go isn't weakness. Seneca burned his early letters, not to forget, but to see. He didn't need old words to know his weight. The past pulls hard, but it's not your anchor. There's another reflex, waiting to be unlearned. Rule 5. Suppressing the pain. You clench your jaw and push it down. The ache in your chest, you tell yourself it's nothing. Their absence, their silence, the weight of being unseen. You bury it. You move on. You work. You smile. You say you're fine. But you're not. You're suppressing a pain that doesn't sleep. You think if you ignore it, it'll fade. You think if you stay busy, it'll dissolve. It won't. It's there, waiting, growing heavier in the quiet you avoid. Each time you push it away, it doesn't leave. It sinks deeper, into your bones, into your breath. You think you're strong for not feeling it. You're not. You're breaking under a load you won't name. Suppressing. It doesn't erase the hurt. It builds a wall between you and your presence. The more you hide it, the more it owns you. You're not outrunning pain. You're carrying it in every step. Every forced smile, another brick in the cage. Epictetus said, "What need is there to hide what you cannot change?" Pain! It's not your enemy. It's not your truth. It's just there, like a shadow. You don't fight shadows. You don't bury them. You witness them. Let the ache rise without pushing it down. Let it sit without running. You don't need to erase it to be whole. You don't need to silence it to be still. Your strength, it's not in hiding. It's in seeing what's real. Stop. Not to dwell. Not to wallow. Just to breathe through it. Let the pain be without controlling it. You don't need to fix it to stand. You don't need to bury it to move. Each moment you witness, you loosen its grip. Each breath, you reclaim your ground. Pain, it's not your master. It's just a guest that doesn't stay. You're not here to suppress. You're here to yourself clear. The void is where it clears. The ache doesn't vanish. It lingers like a guest you didn't invite. But there's another way to face it without breaking. Rule 6. Pleasing to be kept. You say yes when you want to say no. You smile when you want to walk away. You give more time, words, effort, hoping they'll stay. You think if you please, they'll value you. They'll see your worth. They'll choose you, but they don't. You're not earning their care. You're losing your own. Each compromise, a piece of you, traded. Each nod, a step away from your center. You tell yourself it's kindness, it's sacrifice, it's love. It's not. It's pleasing to avoid the loss you fear. They take because you offer. They drift because you chase. Every act to keep them, it doesn't bind them closer. It loosens your grip on yourself. You think pleasing builds a bond. It doesn't. It builds a cage where you're the one trapped. The more you give, the less they see you, the less you stand. You're not holding them. You're holding on to fear. Their presence, it's not your anchor. Your choice to please, it's your chain. Seneca wrote, "If you live according to nature, you will never be poor." Your nature, it's not to bend, not to shrink, not to trade your self-command for their glance. Step back from the urge to give more. Let their absence be their choice. You don't need to earn their stay to be whole. You don't need their approval to be still. Pleasing It's a reflex you can break. Detach, it's a strength you can build. Contrast this. The one who pleases, they fade. They blur into the background of someone else's world. The one who detaches, they stand clear. Not loud, not forceful, just present. You don't need to be their everything to be enough. You don't need to fill their silence to hold your ground. Each moment you don't please, you reclaim your presence. Each step back, you rebuild your line. You're not here to keep them, you're here to keep yourself. Detachment is a form of respect. Why do you give when it takes from you? Because I fear they'll leave. Then let them. Detach, and you'll see. The need to please, it pulls like a current. But currents don't guide you unless you let them. Rule 7. Avoiding the emptiness. You keep moving to outrun it. The quiet, the stillness, the moment you're alone with yourself. You fill the hours. Work, noise, screens, anything to dodge the emptiness. You tell yourself you're busy, you're productive, you're fine, but you're not. You're avoiding the void that waits, the one that grows when their silence sinks in. You think if you stay distracted, it won't catch you. You think if you keep running, it won't find you. It will. It always does. Each distraction, it doesn't fill the gap, it widens it. You're not escaping emptiness, you're feeding it. Every task you pile on, every sound you turn up, it's not freedom. It's a mask for the pain you won't face. You think avoiding keeps you safe. It doesn't. It steals your presence, piece by piece. The more you run, the less you stand. You're not outpacing the void, you're building it inside you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The emptiness, it's not your enemy, it's your ground, waiting to be claimed. Be here, not with force, not with effort, just with breath. Stop running, stop filling. Let the quiet come, without pushing it away. You don't need to drown it to be whole. You don't need to hide from it to be still. Sit with it. The void. It rises. It speaks. Let it. Don't move. Don't react. Just see. The emptiness, it's not your cage. It's your space to rebuild. Each moment you don't avoid, you find your line. Each breath, you hold your ground. You're not here to escape. You're here to face yourself. Stillness is enough. The void doesn't chase you. You carry it. But there's another reflex. To unlearn in the quiet. Rule 8. Reacting to their absence. Their name doesn't light up your screen. And something shifts. A tightness in your chest. A reflex to act. You want to text. To call. To check their story. Just to feel them there. You react to their absence like it's a command. Like it's a truth you must answer. You tell yourself it's instinct. It's care. It's you holding on. But it's not. It's a trap, pulling you from your center. Each impulse you follow, it's not connection. It's loss of your own ground. Every reaction. It doesn't fill their absence. It deepens your own. You think acting will close the gap. It won't. It carves it wider. Each tap, each word, each glance, you're not reaching them. You're losing yourself to their void. You think you're responding to their silence. You're not. You're feeding your own anxiety. Their absence, it's not your signal, your reaction, it's your chain. The more you move, the less you stand. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay. Their absence, It's not your call to action. It's your call to pause. Non-reaction. It's not weakness. It's power. You don't need to fill their silence to be whole. You don't need to chase their shadow to be seen. Let the urge rise and let it pass. Let their absence sit unclaimed. Your strength, it's not in acting. It's in holding your own line, step by step. You can break this. See the urge. Don't follow it. Feel the pull. Don't answer it. Their absence, it's just a fact. Not a verdict, not a truth. You don't need to react to exist. You don't need their presence to breathe. Each moment you choose non-reaction, you build your presence. Each pause, you reclaim your ground. You're not here to answer their silence. You're here to answer yourself. You can end without drama. 80% of notifications change nothing. You check anyway. Why? The answer isn't in the screen. Their absence stings like a cut you keep touching, but there's another way to let it heal. Rule 9. Hoping blindly for closure. You sit in the dark, phone in hand. The bar is quiet, but your mind isn't. You stare at their name, waiting for a message that never comes. You hope they'll reach out, explain, make it right. You tell yourself one word from them, and the pain will lift. One answer, and the questions will stop. But they won't. This isn't hope. It's a reflex, chaining you to their silence. You're not waiting for closure. You're waiting for permission to let go. Each moment you hope blindly. It doesn't heal you. It holds you. You think their words will tie the loose ends. They won't. They'll pull you deeper into regret, into loss. You're not seeking answers. You're seeking escape from the truth you already know. Their silence, it's not a puzzle. It's a fact. The more you wait, the less you stand. You're not holding on to hope. You're holding on to a weight you don't need. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do." Their closure, it's not your freedom. Your freedom, it's in release. You don't need their words to close the door. You don't need their reasons to breathe clear. Stop waiting. Stop hoping. Let their silence be what it is. You're not here to beg for endings. You're here to choose your own. Turn the phone off, not with anger, just with intent. Walk away from the bar, from the screen, from the hope. You don't need their answer to be whole. You don't need their voice to find yours. Each moment you release, you break the chain. Each step, you reclaim your ground. Their silence, it's not your story. Your presence, it's your truth. You're not here to wait. You're here to be here. Not doing is power too. The hope for closure. It burns like a low flame, but flames don't guide you unless you feed them. Rule 10. Denying your pain. You tell yourself it doesn't hurt anymore. Their absence, their silence, the weight of being unseen. You shrug it off. You laugh. You work. You move. You say it's behind you. But it's not. You're denying a pain that doesn't vanish. You think if you don't name it, it won't exist. You think if you keep moving, it won't catch you. It will. It's there, in the quiet moments, in the breath you hold too long, in the mirror you avoid. Each time you deny, it doesn't fade. It festers. You think you're stronger for ignoring it. You're not. You're weaker for letting it grow unchecked. Denying, it doesn't free you. It binds you to numbness, to isolation. You're not hiding pain. You're hiding yourself from the truth, from your presence. The more you push it away, the less you stand. You're not erasing it. You're carving it deeper into your core. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." Your pain, it's true. It's there. Denning it, it's not right. See it, not to dwell, not to break, just to know it. Let it rise, without turning away. You don't need to fight it to be whole. You don't need to silence it to be still. Your strength, it's not in pretending. It's in awareness of what's real. Stop. Not to sink, not to drown, just to witness the ache. Let it be, without erasing it. You don't need to deny it to breathe. You don't need to hide it to exist. Each moment you see, you loosen its hold. Each breath, you reclaim your ground. Pain, it's not your enemy. It's not your truth. It's just there, waiting to be seen. You're not here to pretend. You're here to be here. Pain doesn't mean truth. A man refreshed his inbox daily. For a reply that never came, he stopped, not to forget, but to see the loop. Their silence. It's not your chain. You've seen the loops, the reflexes, the weight of chasing what's gone. Each rule, a cut into the habits that hold you. Each pause, a step toward your ground. The screen stays dark, but your presence doesn't have to. You're not here to fill their absence. You're here to fill your own. You've walked this far, through the noise of your own mind, the pull of old messages, the urge to explain, to please, to hope. Each reflex, a thread you've started to unweave. But the work isn't done. The pain, it lingers. Not because you're weak, because you're human. The rules don't erase it. They guide you through it to a place where their silence doesn't drown your voice. Seneca once stood before a crowd and spoke of loss, not to mourn, but to see. He didn't beg for their pity. He named the truth and let it stand. You can do the same, not with words, not with tears, with stillness that holds its own weight. The next reflex waits, but so does your choice. To pause, to see, to stand. You stand at the edge of their silence, not to leap, not to fall, just to see. The urge to act, it rises, to text, to check, to fill the void, but you don't. You pause, and something shifts. Not the world, not them, you. The rules, they're not a cure. They're a mirror, showing you the loops you've run, the chains you've worn. Each one, a choice you can unmake. Their absence, it's not your verdict. You've chased it. You've explained it. You've hoped it would speak. It doesn't, and it doesn't have to. Your presence, it's not theirs to grant. It's yours to hold. Each moment you don't react, you build a new reflex. Each breath, you carve a new ground. You're not here to wait for their eyes. You're here to meet your own. The pain, it's a guest, not a master. You've named it. You've seen it. Now, let it pass. Not by force, not by denial, by witnessing what's true. Their silence, it's just silence. Your stillness, it's your power. What do you choose when no one answers? To wait, or to be here and breathe? The void doesn't own you, unless you let it. Another choice waits in the quiet. The quiet stretches, but it's not empty. There's silence. It's not your cage. You've seen the reflexes, chasing, explaining, hoping. Each one, A loop you've started to break. The rules, they don't promise relief, they offer clarity. A cold lens to see the truth you've buried. You're not here to fix their absence. You're here to unlearn the urge to try. Each pause, it's not surrender, it's strength. You don't need their words to stand. You don't need their eyes to exist. The pain, it's there. It speaks, but it doesn't rule. You do. By choosing non-reaction, you reclaim your ground. By choosing stillness, you rebuild your line. Their silence, it's just a fact. Your presence, it's your choice. Epictetus walked among men who begged for answers. He gave none, not because he didn't care, but because he knew. The truth, it's not in their words, it's in your own seeing. You don't need their closure to close the loop. You need only to breathe. The urge to act, it's a spark in the dark. But sparks don't guide you unless you fan them. You've faced the spark and let it fade. Their silence, it's not your signal. The rules, they've cut through the noise. Chasing, pleasing, denying. Each reflex, a loop you've started to break. But the work, it's not over. The pain, it lingers. Not to punish, not to define, to test your choice to stand still. You're not here to erase it. You're here to see it through. Their absence, it's a shadow, not a chain. You've stopped running, stopped filling the void. Each moment you choose silence, you reclaim your space. Not with words, not with force. With presence, that doesn't bend. You don't need their reply to know your weight. You don't need their gaze to hold your ground. The rules, they're a map, not to their heart, but to yours. 90% of your thoughts circle the same absence. You think they solve. They don't. They trap. Observe the cycle. Let it spin without you. You're not here to chase shadows. You're here to be here. The pain doesn't vanish. It waits, but you don't have to wait with it. You don't wait for the pain to release you. You choose to release yourself. Their silence, it's not your story. The rules, they've carved a path through the loops, through the reflexes, through the weight of being unseen. Each one, a mirror, not a cure. You've stopped chasing their gaze, stopped explaining your worth, stopped hoping for their words. But the quiet, it's still here, not to drown you, but to hold you. Each breath, it's not escape, it's presence. You don't need their answer to stand whole. You don't need their presence to breathe clear. The pain, it's not your master. It's a signal you've learned to see. Non-reaction. It's not absence. It's power. You're not here to fill their void. You're here to claim your own ground. The rules, they don't erase their absence. They teach you to hold your own presence, to witness the urges without acting, to pause without falling. Their silence, it's just a fact. Your self-command, it's your choice. Marcus Aurelius sat alone, a pen in hand. He wrote to himself, not to persuade, not to prove, to witness his own truth. You can do the same, not with ink, but with stillness. The silence doesn't break you unless you let it. Another choice waits in the pause. The pause, it's where you find your line. Their silence, it's not your weight to carry. The rules, they've stripped away the reflexes, the need to chase, to please, to deny. Each one, a chain you've started to break. You're not here to win their gaze. You're not here to fill their absence. You're here to stand in your own. stillness. The pain, it's there, not to rule you, but to remind you. You can see it without breaking. Each moment you choose non-reaction. You build a new ground. Not loud, not forced, just clear. You don't need their reply to stand whole. You don't need their gaze to breathe free. The rules, they're a system, not a cure. They show you the loops you've run, the chains you've worn, and the power to unmake them. Non-reaction. It's not absence, it's strength. You don't need their silence to define you. You need only your own awareness. Diogenes walked away from Alexander's riches, not to reject, but to be here. His freedom wasn't in their approval. It was in his choice to need nothing else. The urge to look back, it flickers, but you don't have to follow it. You don't follow the flicker of their absence. The rules, they've carved a path through the noise. The urge to chase, to hope, to deny. Each reflex, a loop you've learned to SEE. Their silence. It's not your cage. It's not your truth. You're not here to answer it. You're here to answer yourself. The pain, it lingers, not to break you, but to test your stillness. Each moment you choose silence, you reclaim your ground. Not with force, not with noise, with awareness that doesn't bend. You don't need their reply to stand whole. You don't need their gaze to breathe clear. The rules, they don't change their absence. They change you into someone who doesn't need their eyes. Non-reaction, it's not surrender. It's self-command. You're not here to fill their void. You're here to fill your own. A man sat alone, refreshing an empty inbox. Each click, a plea for closure. He stopped, not to forget, but to SEE. The loop, it wasn't theirs. It was his. He chose to let it end. The silence waits, but it doesn't own you. Another choice is yours to make. Your choice, it's what remains. Their silence, it's not your burden. The rules, they've cut through the reflexes. Chasing, pleasing, denying, each one, a weight you've started to shed. You're not here to fill their void. You're not here to beg for their eyes. You're here to stand in your own stillness. The pain, it's there. Not to rule you, but to remind you. You can see it without breaking each pause. It's not escape, it's presence. You don't need their words to know your ground. You don't need their answer to hold your line. The rules, they're a system, not a cure. They show you the weight you've carried, the loops you've run, and the power to stop. Non-reaction. It's not absence, it's strength. You don't need their silence to define you. You need only your own awareness. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt." Your pain, it's not the wound, it's the fear of facing it. Witness the fear. Let it pass without chasing it. You're not here to run. You're here to be here. The urge to react, it's a whisper in the dark. But whispers don't lead unless you listen. You don't listen to the whisper of their absence. The rules, they've carved a path through the noise. The urge to chase, to hope, to deny. Each reflex, a loop you've learned to see. Their silence, it's not your cage, it's not your truth. You're not here to answer it. You're here to hold your own presence. The pain, it sits, not to break you, but to test your stillness. Each moment you choose silence. You reclaim your ground. Not with force, not with noise. With awareness that doesn't bend. You don't need their reply to stand whole. You don't need their gaze to breathe clear. The rules, they don't change their absence. They change you into someone who doesn't need their eyes. Non-reaction. It's not surrender. It's self-command. You're not here to fill their void. You're here to fill your own. 85% of your thoughts replay their silence. They don't solve. They trap. Observe the cycle. Let it spin without you. You're not here to chase shadows. You're here to be here. The pain lingers, but it's not your master. One final choice waits in the quiet. The quiet. It's not your enemy. Their silence. It's not your chain. The rules. They've stripped away the reflexes. Chasing, explaining, hoping, denying. Each one, a loop you've faced. You've seen the pain, not to drown in it, but to witness it. You're not here to beg for their presence. You're not here to fill their absence. You're here to stand in your own stillness. Each breath, it's not escape, it's presence. You don't need their words to know your ground. You don't need their eyes to hold your line. The rules, they're a mirror, not a cure. They show you the weight you've carried, the loops you've run, and the power to stop. Non-reaction. It's not absence. It's strength. You don't need their silence to define you. You need only your own awareness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Their absence, it's not your truth. Your choice, it is. To talk, not to forget, but to see. You're not here to chase their shadow. You're here to be here. Their silence, it's just a fact. Your presence, it's your choice. The rules end, but the pause remains. The phone lies face down. No hum, no light. The room is still. Only your breath moves. Their silence, it sits there, unclaimed. You didn't text. You didn't check. You didn't chase. This time, the urge came and passed. Not with force, not with struggle, with presence that held its ground. Something stayed when you didn't react. A quiet, not empty, but clear. You didn't fill their absence. You didn't beg for their eyes. You stood in your own stillness. The pain, it's there. Not gone, not fixed, just seen for what it is. You didn't run. You didn't hide. You chose to be here. What remains when you don't chase their shadow? Not answers, not closure, just you breathing through the void. Their silence, it's not your truth. Your choice, it is. Silence is a choice that holds.